that can catch or a receiver that can block well?
Uh, Honestly, I always like even out of high school, I felt like a receiver that can block really well, a hard nosed receiver that can block very well.
Tobias Wilborn.
I mean, obviously nobody's expecting any one person to replace Pat Freiermuth, but what does it mean for you to have the opportunity to possibly be a leader in this group and see your production potential?
Like I said last year, when Pat went down, I mean it's an opportunity that presents itself, and I'm happy to get that chance. And like I said, like I'm gonna keep getting better. That's what I've been doing all off season, getting better to fill those shoes. So,
John Sauber.
What was the most important thing you learned from Pat and about playing tight end in your 2 years on campus with him?
The thing that I took from Pat that I think that he does very well is his preparation, what he does before the games, how he studies, like how he looks at the games, how he knows football in general. That's probably the best thing I took from Pat.
Donnie.
Hey, Brenton, how do you think you developed as a blocker through last season? And same with Theo. It looked like he was a much better blocker at the end of the season than maybe he was at the beginning.
Yeah, I think me and Theo did a great job blocking, coming in and blocking, doing what we had to do for our role. I think honestly that us developing as blockers became with how when Pat went down, and just us being students of the game and listening to some stuff that he has to say. And yeah.
T. Frank.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I apologize. I got in a little late, but I just want to ask, without giving up any of the secret sauce, how different is your role in the offense this year as opposed to last year? And is there anything you're excited for in particular that you might be doing this year?
So last year, I really wasn't expecting to be the guy to come in and maybe get all the receiving stats, but like this year it's a lot different. I have the opportunity to be the receiving guy and the guy that blocks, so I'm very excited for that. Like I said, the opportunity is presenting itself, and I'm going to take advantage of it.
Daniel Gallen.
Hey, Brenton. How did you have to prepare for this season differently? Knowing that it's going to be a new offense, did you have to tailor any of your off-season work to the new system? How did you kind of approach all of that?
I kind of had to approach it with a different mindset. I had to relearn everything with the new offense. So just being a student of the game, really.
Mark Brennan.
Brenton, Jake Pinniger was on earlier and said guys are ticked off over the way last season went. How much of a motivator is having, as a team, kind of a disappointing season like that going into spring ball? Thank you.
Someone that hates to lose, that's definitely a motivator. Every day in the weight room, we would go in the weight room and we would see 0-5 on the board. So, I mean, if that doesn't motivate you to come out, try to get better every day.
David Edgar.
Yeah. Hi, Brenton. I guess, kind of piggybacking off of that, I mean, are there any other ways that you've seen, that sense of maybe a little bit of anger over how last season went kind of manifest itself, maybe in the start of spring practice here?
Brent, we're having trouble hearing you. Can you repeat answer?
Did you Yeah, did you get that last question?
I didn't hear your response, Brenton. Sorry.
I said it's the little things. I think some of the guys, we just missed out on the little things last year. It's the little details that really matter. And I think that's what we aren't going to miss out on this year. And I think that's what's going to make the difference.
Rich Garcella.
Brenton, along those lines, have you seen anything different from Sean Clifford, whether it was in winter workouts or just this first week of spring practice? And what do you expect from him going forward this season?
Sean's a great quarterback. I expect him to play good like he always does. He knows what he can do and he knows his potential. So I expect him to do that.
Donnie Collins.
Brenton, with those little things you were talking about earlier, how much does having a spring practice help with those? And is there a way to quantify how much not having spring practice may have hurt you guys going into the season?
Last year, I think it hurt a lot. I mean, especially having a new offense this year, it helps a lot because we come in and we get those 15 practices and we get to learn about those little details and say a route that is on a play that we wouldn't have learned in spring ball last year. So I definitely believe that these 15 practices are going to benefit us in many ways.
Roger Snyder.
Brenton, I just wanted to go back to Mark's question a few questions ago about you. I think you said 0-5 is like plastered in the weight room or something. What is it? What does it look like? Or maybe I misheard you.
It's just it's a whiteboard, and then it said 0-5 on the board for a while when we were going through our winter workouts and our lifting. So,
Mark Brennan.
Brenton, we obviously saw you and Theo last year. What can you tell us about Tyler Warren? He's another guy that we really haven't seen a lot of.
Yeah, Tyler Warren's another great player. He's been making a lot of plays so far in spring ball this year, and I expect a lot of things out of him.
T. Frank.
Hey, Brenton, as a receiver that can block really well, how important or how much do you think about making plays with the ball in your hands?
Can you repeat that question? I'm sorry.
Yeah. As a guy who is self-described as a receiver who can block really well, how much do you think about making plays with the ball in your hands after the catch?
I think about it a lot. Honestly, that's a part of my game that I want to work on a lot. Last year, I felt like I caught a couple balls. I could have made some plays, but I didn't at the time, and that's something that I'm going to work on, and I expect my game to be better after the catch this year.
Any more questions for Brenton? All right, we'll wrap it up there then. Thank you, Brenton, for your time, and thanks everyone for joining us.